Hello and welcome to Elephant Roses. So today it's another bits and bobbles of all my handicrafts. So we'll jump right in. I'll start with quilting. So that's the first pile you can see in the background. So Lori Holt is currently doing a sew along for a Christmas themed quilt. And you can find more information on her channel about it. But I really like the quilt blocks that are around the outside of the quilt. And I've been looking for a quilt block pattern. I've designed a couple of them, not quite what I wanted. Kept looking through books and different blogs and not finding exactly what I wanted. And then I saw hers and I was like, yes, that's perfect. The reason I want a quilt block is I need to make 2 pillow shams. Recently at IKEA, I was able to pick up, and I can pop a picture of it up here, a couch. It's a modular couch system. So the corner unit was going to be the most expensive piece because I have a very tiny apartment. I have a very tiny living room to begin with, which is now chopped in half because half is my studio, half is the living room. So we have even tighter space than normal. Where I'm sitting currently is the dining room, and what I'm filming on is a desk that we use as our dining room table. That's how tiny this apartment is. It's barely 700 square feet. So everything in this apartment has to serve multiple uses. So the couch is an example of multiple uses. The couch also has to act as the guest bed. So it needs to be wide enough. So that's where this modular came in really handy. The seats are really deep and it's really nice. IKEA has an as-is section if you've never been to one. And usually what happens is stuff is marked off, like half off. Well, this corner unit that I needed was in there for 25% of the normal price. Problem? It was missing the back cushions, which actually look like 2 pillows. And when I bought the other piece I needed, the money I saved on the first piece, actually, I ended up getting the second piece, plus having money left over because of the money I saved just on that corner piece. And I thought at the time that I could just buy back cushions from IKEA, but they said no, they don't sell extra cushions, which is surprising because this modular unit has the option to buy extra covers. So I looked at the second piece I bought, which came with the back cushion. Well, the back cushion is the size of a pillow. So I was just like, well, forget that. I'll just make a fancy pillow sham and buy 2 really nice pillows and put them on the couch. And I'll just put it's the corner piece, and then there's a chair that sits next to it. So on the chair, I'll put one of the quilted pillow tops, and then I'll put the fancy pillow, and then I'll put on the other side of the corner unit, I'll put another pillow sham. It'll just look like I did it on purpose. So and I'll pop in pictures when I finally finish it so you guys can see what I'm talking about too. Currently it's still a work in progress. But back to Lori Holt, she released it. It's a free sew along if you want to learn to quilt. This is a great opportunity. You end up learning applique and actually quilting blocks, and so everything's there that you'd need to know as a beginning sewist. Or quilter. So I went through my stash and I had some fabric that I just absolutely love. So that's all of them together. And then this one it's Paris themed. Hopefully you can see that okay. There's Eiffel Towers in it, flowers, postcards, butterflies, everything. Second one looks like this. It's another variation of the first one, only the postcards are bigger and it looks like there's like wallpaper samples in it. I got these off of clearance, I don't know where, many years ago. This came out of my scrap bin. I made some aprons with the rest of it, so this is part of it. I'll show you in a second where this little tiny piece comes in. Next piece looks like the same, and by the way, the first 2 plus this one have writing on it. It's French, and the only word I can make out is Giverny, so that was the theme. Giverny is where Monet lived, and I love Monet. So yeah, I think you're probably seeing the themes starting to pop. Here's another one that I have no idea where I got it. I just love the colors and the pattern and the textures. This one is really subtle, so I'm not sure if you're going to be able to pick up the details, but it's like a rose in a vase, wall sconce. It's really a cool pattern. It's really subtle. You barely see the details. Another one, it looks like letters and postage stamps, and it's all sorts of writing. It's got peonies on it. It's got all sorts of flowers and butterflies. So that's the next one that I used. And then the last one I'm using is this one. And again, it matches the first two. It says Giverny. It's got cursive writing. It's got birds. It's got everything in it. So those are the fabrics. And my hope is these first two, to use them as the backing fabric for the pillow sham. So on the back of the pillow, that's where these will be. So that's the goal for that. And when you put all those colors together, and this is again Lori Holt's design board idea, you get this. And I will pop in another picture too. So that little scrap is the center motif. So then you've got, now I'll mix all these together and make a different one. I'm thinking I'm going to need 3 to go across the front of the pillow sham, maybe 2. I'm going to start with making the 2, then make the decision, do I want to add a third one, or do I want to add something different? But I really like the way that black turned out. I really like how it highlights this yellow, and hopefully the light isn't blowing it out too much. I'm trying to do different lighting this time. And then that turquoise fabric is down in the corners. And that blue swirl is here. And then that one that's really hard to see the material is the blocks in the corners. So I'll pop in another picture of this so you get a better view of what it looks like. So that is the quilting side of things. It was real easy to put the block together. Lori showed in the first video how to assemble the block. It's just brilliant how she does it, so you don't get any of the... Sometimes when you do a corner, you put 2 squares together and you sew diagonally. And normally what happens is that you cut it so that they're 2 triangles that you put together. And then you sew it, and sometimes it'll get skewed and stretched out through that center seam. Lori's technique, you don't cut it into triangles until after it's sewn, so you don't get that issue. So definitely recommend going to look at that. Next up, we'll go to sewing. Currently, I'm working on, I'm going to be part of the Precious Fabric Challenge next week, so on the 19th, please tune back in and you can see what I did for Precious Fabric and why it was precious for me. So definitely check that out. Hashtag special fabric 24, I believe, is the hashtag. I'll put it down below, and I'll put it on the screen too, because I think I just messed it up. So the first thing I do is I have this, it's not really material, it's I can pop in on here what it's called, but it's from Pellon, and instead of using like fabric, it's like this like woven meshy type fabric. It's not designed to be worn, it's just to make twirls from. And I upcycle this. When I was moving to where I live currently, we stopped at a Walmart to grab lunch food. When you're moving, you really don't want to go to restaurants, so it was just run in, grab sandwich food, you know, picnic lunch stuff, and then out the door. Well, they were clearancing out their fabric department. Wrong time to be going through a fabric department when you're in the middle of a move, especially moving from the southern United States to the northeastern United States to begin with. That's a trek in of itself. And they had this for 10 cents a yard. Okay, nobody can go wrong. So I grabbed the last 3 bolts and then shoved them in the back car window. And I know it sounds funny, but this has been the greatest asset for me. I upcycle it. I use it over and over again. Currently what I'm doing is, there is a pattern I got off the Birdo Style magazine website that I bought, and it's for some trousers. And right now this looks just absolutely like, you're gonna be like, what in the world is she doing? So the pant legs, I've been tweaking and adjusting them because they were just way too wide. I'm 5'4", and I swear the pant leg was half the width of my height. So I've been tailoring and altering them. And then I got to the waist, and so the fly would be here. I didn't put the fly in, so bear in mind with that. But right now I'm working on the hip. That's why it's unsewn. Tried them on, they were too tight. Didn't like that feel, so I've ripped it out. I'm gonna literally splice in another piece of this onto each side, recut the hip, and get it to tailor into this pant leg, and get it to fit better. And that's how I get trousers to fit me perfectly. So I need work pants, so that is what I'm currently doing. And the good part is you can try it on, you're not wasting fabric, and for 10 cents a yard, I'll upcycle this material again in the future if I choose to, or you can tear all the seams out and then use that as your pattern pieces. And I've done that in the past too, and it's always worked really good. So that is what I'm working on for currently. It's a new design trouser that I haven't worn before, but it looks really nice. I just wanted the pant legs a little bit narrower than it showed in, well, in the magazine. It looks much narrower than the actual pattern piece, which is another thing. It's very strange. So that's what I'm working on currently, plus the Precious Fabric Challenge. And I'll share more about that next week as well. And I'll put the hashtag here so you can go check out the other sewists who are currently uploading everything. And the contest runs through the end of September, and it's open to everybody. So I'll put in all that information down below as well. And then, so a couple of years ago, I found this wonderful pattern through Grasser that I just love. It's got a side vent here. It's got some gorgeous darts. There is, I'll put pictures because it'll be easier too. There is this stitch detail, if I can show it, right there across when you get to about mid-stomach, about belly button area. So it's just one of those staple pieces in my wardrobe. It works beautifully under cardigans. It's just wonderful. Believe it or not, this started out brick red linen. And this is 100% linen that I got on markdown. I think it was under $5 a yard. It was brick red when this started. It is now mauve. That gives you an idea how many times this has gone through the wash. So it is starting to show its age. It's got this built-in liner, all in one facing, not liner, excuse me. And so it just worked magically. It was just a simple, easy pattern to put together. So I said, okay, I'm going to make another one of these before this one absolutely falls apart, because I've already had to redo seams because seams have come apart. I didn't finish off the inside of the seams on that one like I should have, because I was having just a terrible time with the material sewing it up. And then once it was done, it turned into one of my favorites, of course. So should have spent the extra time finishing off the inside seams. So I got a hold of some, I'm not sure, it's kind of a stiffer cotton. It's not a quilting cotton. It's just a really stiff cotton. And in this, I don't know if it'll show up well, but it's like a burgundy color, like maroon color, and then the dots are vanilla. On the camera, it looks more red. So I'll pop in pictures so you can hopefully see a better color shot of it. But maroon is one of my colors. I don't look good in white, so finding a fabric with vanilla polka dots was just perfect for me. So I tweaked that pattern with the little adjustments that after I wore it a while, I was like, well, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. And one of the things I wished I would have done on that one was I wish I would have dropped the front a little bit more, because that would have given me a little bit more, if I want to do a French tuck, I have a little bit extra to tuck in, and it's not going to pop out when I move my arms, which is nice. The other thing is the side vent was a little bit too high for me, and I wanted it lower, so I dropped the side vent down. Other than that, that is the only adjustments I made. It's a great pattern. Definitely recommend it. I'll put the name of the pattern on the screen and also down below. But this is my only finished object for the week, the last 2 weeks. I've had a lot of projects with work and everything, and I'm not sure if I should have done pattern matching down here where that detail is. I know the camera's not doing it a lot of justice right now, but yeah, it definitely holds a pressing, as you can tell. My my chest dart is just like sticking straight out this morning. So, but yeah, I really like this pattern. I'll see how this material holds up. When I found it, it was stiffer, and I'm wondering as I wash it and wear it, if it'll turn into like this linen that was the same thing. It was really stiff when I first got it, and it took several washes before it started softening up, and now it's really super soft. But it's still, when I look at pictures of when I first made it and it was brick red, it just makes me giggle. It's mauve now. I've washed all the color out of the linen. But again, that's my finished object for the week. Next up, last time I showed you my sweater. It is still at the same, I was trying to play yarn chicken, so I got a little bit further along in the bottom of it. I'm now into almost to the bottom, but ran out of yarn. I knew I was going to. It's just about that much too short for it to hit the top of my high waist. I don't want it that short, obviously. I want it a little bit longer. So went looking and looking, couldn't find the yarn. Then I found Joann's had the yarn, and the day I found it, it was on sale. So the other place I found it, one of these skeins was the price of all three I could get at Joann's. So I did all three. And I don't need three for this. One, I'll finish it, but I'll still end up with 2 balls. So this is Kobu yarn. So at the same time, I grabbed a vanilla colored, which is like a cream. And I figured between this yarn and these 2 skeins, I should be able to get the Petite Knit Friday sweater. Now at the same time, I started because I was waiting for yarn to come, and my other sweater, the yarn has been out of stock. Hobby just emailed me yesterday and said it's back in stock, so I have to order that. I started this one. This is the Anchor Tee from Petite Knits, and as you can tell, I just broke off the sleeves. I'm just starting on the body. I'll pop in pictures of it too, and it's inside out. Sorry. I was like, why does that look strange? It's because it was inside out. Obviously I still have to weave in ends too. This is a better picture of what it's supposed to look like. And so I'm gonna have leftover of this, and so when you combine that color and this one looks really bright. It's not quite that bright in real life. And this one. So my thinking is maybe that I put like a light pink stripe if I have any of this left over. Otherwise, if I have some of this left over and some of this, I know I've seen this in the store, so I can get that for the same price each of these skeins costs through Joann's. So I won't end up in the same problem as I did with the green one. And then I'll just make another Friday sweater with the leftover of this and another set of these. And I'll be, you know, I don't mind doing that. I don't like having leftover yarn laying around. I'm okay with like little scraps and stuff like that, but large quantities of yarn drive me crazy. It's like, wait, why'd I do that? I'm the same with my fabric stash. I try not to have a large amount. One, it just seems pointless to have it just sitting there staring at me because I can only make so much. Second reason is, again, I live in a very tiny space right now. Where we are currently for my son's medical care, I don't know how long we'll be here. So eventually we will move. It is way too expensive to stay here long. Yeah, it's a challenge, but right now the big thing is to keep the stash low. There's not many fabric stores here, so that makes it easy because I'm one that I could walk in and, oh, that's so pretty, and I could walk out with 12 fabrics in a heartbeat. And I know I could. So that's the other thing. I'm always very careful that when I make a new object, then one of my old objects has to go out of my closet. I have two. I've been trying really hard the last few years. It's always been my closet, and other people might have this too. Pre-COVID, when I was in offices, I had my business outfits, I had my going out of the house outfits, and then I had my house clothes. And going out of the house, I always called those my dressy clothes. And so 3 separate wardrobes, and that is a lot of clothes to maintain and keep track of and everything. I started moving during the pandemic, and I'm still moving, from having dressy clothes plus business clothes and combining those 2 wardrobes into one. So, for example, this anchor tee, for example, it's going to get paired with blazers, slacks, etc. I can wear it for work. At the same time, I can take off fancy dress pants, put on jeans, and change out jewelry, and all of a sudden it looks like something I could wear dressy. AK, go to the grocery store, go to Costco, go pick up the Azure order, etc. And it'll work just fine. So it'll do double duty. This shirt has been doing that. That's probably one reason why it's no longer brick red. And so that's what I've been trying to do. I still have my house clothes. I don't feel comfortable cleaning in my fancy clothes. I know, like Fly Lady system and all those other things, they say, well, just use your fancy clothes. The house, it'll be easy. I'm still one of those old-fashioned, when I'm scrubbing tubs, I'm covered in bubbles and everything else, because that's just the way I clean. I deep clean. I don't wipe anything down. I always deep clean everything because that's just the way I was raised. I'm not sure how other people are. So I wear aprons, but I still, my house clothes get beat up pretty bad. So I currently have the rule that when I make a new piece, I pull an old piece out of the rotation. My wool suits, I still have some of them because I still break them apart. I still wear the jacket, the blazer jacket with, the trousers they're supposed to be with, but I also pair it with other trousers so that I can not have as many, but I also have them in my arsenal just in case I need to go into a formal business setting. I still have them. But, if I retired this, then I'll make something else to replace it. Currently, I know what's going to get pulled out of rotation to put this in, and that one is, it's at the end of its lifespan, so it's going in the house clothes, and then something in the house clothes is getting pulled out and it's going in the rag bin or donated, depending on where it's at. Most of the time they end up in the rag bin because they're just not fit to give away. There is times that some of the things I pull out of my closet are things that just never worked, never fit right, never were exactly what I needed. but are still perfectly good shape, those things always go to the Goodwill or the thrift store or to a church donation or something like that. So, but yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this content. Sorry I got rambling for a little bit there, but yeah, it's been an interesting journey living here in the Northeast of the United States. But I hope you enjoyed this content. Please definitely leave me a like and a comment below. I look forward to next week and showing you my precious fabric and why it's precious and what I am currently making with that. So I hope you enjoyed this content, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.